and as you heard from the last witness, I think that something that is anchored in taking a look at historical compensation as a basis for anticipated future compensation.
Had you looked at Ms. Heard's prior compensation?
Yes, I have. I've looked at tax returns that were provided for the period of 2013 through 2019.
Why do you want to use historical earnings?
Well, once again, you want an analysis that's anchored in fact.
Okay.
I don't believe that Ms. Arnold has done that in her analysis. So here we've got some actual data. We've got some historical
remember
compensation.
that? Actual data?
And as the last witness mentioned, that often provides somewhat of a basis for future anticipated earnings.
It does?
In addition, I believe that Ms. Arnold herself said that she had hoped to be able to look at a renegotiated salary for Aquaman 2 and then use that as a basis for future compensation, that being the new kind of base, if you will.
Were there any years in particular that you focused on in your analysis?
Okay, let's see this.
As to Ms. Arnold's testimony?
Yeah, imagine the numbers, yeah.
In terms of the historical compensation?
Yes.
Well, for 2013 through 2019 in total, her compensation was around $10 million for all those years combined.
It's a lot of money.
In 2019, the last of those years, her compensation was somewhere between about $2.6 million and $3 million.
Okay.
Now, that's a good year. That's known as a clean year.
What do you mean by a clean year?
Well, for example, 2019, you had Aquaman was released in December of 2018, and that was a successful film.
It was.
So in 2019, you've got the benefit of that kind of success.
Yeah.
And you also don't have any potential impact from the alleged defamatory Waldman statements that occurred in April of 2020. So 2019 is clean of all that.
What did you understand
That's a good point.
Methodology to be?
Yep.
Her methodology initially appeared to be based on these comparable actors that she had identified, and theoretically, the compensation that they earned.
Right.
Although she doesn't identify what that compensation is or provide any support for it, or any
Of course not. That would require evidence. They don't have.
What is your opinion of that methodology from an accounting perspective?
That methodology was unsound. It's just unsupported. There are no numbers. There's no data that she provided as support for that.
Yep. Yep.
What methodology did you understand Ms. Arnold to adopt at trial?
Okay, well, it looked like somewhat of a mix and match approach. She used different approaches, I believe, for different elements of the damages, although it's still a little bit unclear to me, a little bit vague. But there are 4 basic components that she was looking at, and we can go through those in any order you wish.
All right. With respect to the television series portion of her analysis, what do you understand that methodology to be?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see it.
May we approach it?
Okay. Yeah. See, they're trying to take up as much time as possible, and like take this off the rails as many times as they can. Yeah. Can we approach like this? Is just it's too much. They're scared of them. Well, the thing is, like as I said, is that Amber Heard's testimony and like all of their witnesses and their entire defense, everything about it is reliant completely on implications and assumptions. That's about it. And trust. Like you should trust that this is what's true or not. And so the moment that you have somebody that actually goes up there and has numbers and actually has experience and can explain things based off of evidence, well then all of that stuff immediately falls apart. It doesn't matter anymore because its evidence is always going to take precedent over like, oh, well this is what should have happened. Well, look at the numbers. That's not what happened. It's like, well, guess what you're going to believe? It's obviously the fucking numbers. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, the literal president of DC testified. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of obvious. They covered the names and reminder. Why is that? I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. Objection, facts. Yeah, objection, Your Honor. They're using facts again. Like, this isn't fair. Yeah, we can't compete at this. Come on. Has some implications? Yeah, like, yeah, and biased experts and shit like this. It's just so ridiculous. I can't believe anybody would even take the side of her. It's just crazy, man. I believe everything from Queen Amber Heard. Yeah. I think those are the people that are still left. You know, there it is. I'll have to look right now and see what's going on with the people that are tweeting about it. I think it'll be really funny to see that. I published a VOD yesterday. It had some gore, so we had to cut it out, and we have it highlighted now. You notice after the guy started taking shit about Amber, she did note after note to her legal team. Never did she do a note regarding abuse. Ego is hurt. Well, absolutely. Like, she was fidgeting around way more whenever that guy was talking about how she was not comparable to these other actors. Meanwhile, whenever people are talking about how she got the shit beat out of her or anything like that, she's just calm and relaxed. Isn't that interesting? And that's what I said before, right? Is that, like, whenever she was, like, every time that she would start crying on the stand, it would be in the context of her ego being at risk, hurt, or damaged, or her feeling embarrassed. I think that's really what it is. Yeah, this is a pure, a pure ego thing. Exactly. It's the people versus Amber Turd. I don't know about that. You're gonna make a whole video if the trial ends? Yeah, I think I probably will, like, after everything finishes. Yeah, I would say so. It's just crazy. How many times they recast the Hulk? I mean, like, probably 6 times. Like, the Hulk's been recast, I mean, over, like, ever since the 70s, probably, like, 5 or 6 times. Maybe even more than that, a lot. Yeah, 3. I mean, I guess you'd have to go back and, like, 4. I thought it was a 4, really, 4? I thought it was, like, 6, but I'm not sure. So, yeah, it's not really a surprise to me at all. Why would you cry whenever talking about earnings? Because the earnings reflect her value. Does that make sense? So, like, her value as a person is reflected by the earnings. And because of that, the earnings, you know, or value as an actor. I need to use the bathroom real quick. Give me a second. Yeah, that's why.
The earnings from television shows. Did you analyze what historical earning Ms. Heard had during the period that you were concerned with relative to television shows?
Well, yes, during 2019, she entered into a contract in July of 2019 to appear in a television series at $200,000 per episode.
All right. What about endorsement deals? Did you look at what she had made on endorsement deals during that period?
She did have a contract with L'Oreal at $1,625,000.
All right. With respect to her movie roles, what were her historical earnings during that period?
Well, certainly for the most recent years, you had the Warner Brothers deal, which was a 4-picture deal. The first film was $450,000. Then the first Aquaman was $1 million.
Just like what she made?
Base fee. Then $2 million for Aquaman 2. And presuming that there was an Aquaman 3, that would have been $4 million.
Right.
Okay. Why do you look at historical earnings as part of your analysis?
Because you want your analysis to be anchored in facts.
Oh.
You want it to have a
makes sense.
methodology, and you want it to come up with a reasonable result. So if you take a look at, for example, the analysis that Ms. Arnold did, it didn't appear to be...
Let's just look at the analysis that you're doing.
Okay.
What you said, I think, is you wanted them anchored in facts. Why?
Because that provides a sound basis for coming up with something with reasonable certainty.
You have to be sure somehow.
Or American Institute of Certified Public Accountant guidance with respect to reasonable certainty. And those are the basic elements.
Okay.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right. Cross-examination.
actual fucking accounting evidence. Wow, what a fucking surprise. Okay, here we go. Let's see what he's gonna say. Yeah, why? Why are you gonna use the facts? Well, because it's good to know.
Hello again, Mr. Spindler.
Good morning.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to ask you a few questions that may refer to the statements in Amber's counterclaim against Mr. Depp. When I refer to those statements, I'm going to refer to them as the Depp-Waldman statements. Do you agree that we can both be on the same page what I'm referring to when I say that?
Okay.
That's fine. You can use your terminology.
Sorry, there's objection, sir. Hold on.
Can we approach?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Yeah, it wasn't gonna happen. I say it's not a good morning for Amber Heard. It's not gonna be a good week for her. Because what you have to keep in mind is that these witnesses is going to keep going on and on and on, because a lot of these witnesses are all going to be Johnny Depp witnesses. So yeah, it's gonna be brutal. Yeah, it's like he's trying to lead him on with this other bullshit. Amber could be compared with Terrence Howard, recast for Iron Man 2, now doing weird conspiracy lectures. Yeah, I don't really know what that guy. I don't even know who that guy was. Pack, thank you for the 5 good subs. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, Amber's team wasted all their time on the case. What Amber's team did is they basically had a bunch of friends of Amber come forward and tell the same story that Amber told them, and then hope the jury would believe it. That's it.
So, Mr. Spindler, when I refer to the Depp-Waldman statements, you understand me to be referring to the statements in Ms. Heard's counterclaim against Mr. Depp, correct?
I'll understand that, yes.
Now, you're here to provide a rebuttal opinion to part of Miss Arnold's testimony, correct?
Correct.
You're not providing an opinion on whether Ms. Heard saw Mr. Depp, correct?
That is true.
Okay.
You're not offering an opinion as to any of the underlying facts relating to whether Mr. Depp abused Amber, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
You're not offering an opinion as to the magnitude of damages that you believe Ms. Heard may be entitled to if she proves defamation by Mr. Depp. You're just reviewing what Ms. Arnold has said, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And you said that you want your analysis to be accurate in the facts, right?
Anchored in facts.
Anchored in facts. You'd agree that what an actor earns in one period isn't necessarily reflective of what he or she may earn in future periods, correct?
Correct.
And that's because
there can be some variability.
An increase in the number of roles may lead to greater income, correct?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I was speaking, I didn't hear.
One of the reasons that what you earn in one period may not be reflective of what an actress may earn in future periods is because an increase in the number of roles may lead to greater income.
Yeah,
correct?
Of course.
The number of roles or the particular project itself, yes.
Sure, getting better roles may lead to greater income.
Exactly.
Correct.
And the same is true for an endorsement. As an actress's profile grows, the amount of money that she may be able to earn from endorsements grows as well, correct?
True.
It can.
So,
It depends.
what Ms. Heard earned from, say,
That's also
2013 to 2019 that you testified to isn't necessarily reflective of what she might earn over the next 5 years, correct?
Not necessarily. It is a good indicator, though.
And you'd agree that from 2013 to 2019, in terms of earnings and star power, that Ms. Heard's career trajectory was on the upswing, correct?
There was a slight increase during that period of time in her earnings from 2013 through 2019.
And you agree that that was as a result of getting more lucrative roles, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's
You're
a
not
slight
causation
increase. Okay.
expert, right? You're just a damages expert.
That's correct.
So you're not testifying as to whether the Depp-Waldman statements caused her to lose any roles, correct?
That's correct.
And you're not offering any opinion as to whether the Depp-Waldman statements kept her from being considered for roles that she otherwise would have been considered for, correct?
That's correct. I'm not testifying on causation issues.
And you can't speak to what opportunities may never have materialized for Amber as a result of the Depp-Waldman statements, correct?
Of course not.
Yeah, I've not done those calculations.
Of course not.
And
How
you
could
don't have
anybody?
an opinion about whether or not Ms. Heard could have renegotiated a contract for Aquaman 2,
It's
correct?
crazy.
That was not part of my work.
And you don't have an opinion on the impact that additional exposure or press coverage or magazine covers or interviews would have had on Ms. Heard's career, correct?
True.
Correct. I'm just looking at Ms. Arnold's calculations.
Yeah.
You've never served as an expert witness before to calculate damages based on lost roles by an actress resulting from defamation against that person, correct?
I've been involved in defamation cases, but I've not done the calculations as an expert witness and testified thereto.
Okay. All right, that's sure.
And there's never been an instance in which you have served as an expert witness in a case to calculate damages based on alleged defamation against an actress, correct?
Correct.
And you're not offering any expert opinion on what impact the alleged defamation by Mr. Depp has had on Ms. Heard's career, correct?
How could he?
I'm sorry, one more time?
You're not offering any
How
expert
could he?
opinion on what impact the Depp-Waldman statements by Mr. Depp has had on Ms. Heard's career, correct?
Other than taking a look at Ms. Arnold's calculations.
And you're not offering any expert opinion about what impact, if any, social media coverage of this case or Ms. Heard may have had on Ms. Heard's career, correct?
How could he?
Correct, that's other experts.
Can we approach
No
her?
further questions. Thank you.
All right.
It's just like, yeah, it's like he adds like all these like weird specific stuff, right? Why would he exactly? I feel like this guy is like the budget version of
Okay.
All right, thank you,
Of
Mr. Billy.
the
You have a
Wizard
seat in the
Destroyer.
courtroom, or
Thank you,
you're free to
everyone.
go. Thank you.
yeah, he's the budget version. He's trying to do the same thing, but it's
Plaintiff
just like
Doug Banya, Your Honor.
it doesn't really go as well.
Can you spell last name for me? B-A-N-I-A.
Oh my God, Wizard Destroyer at home? Yeah, exactly. That's sad. They're trying to discredit him? Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I mean, he just said he went up there and, you know, in 2019, like, Aquaman came out in 2018, 2019, I feel like could be a pretty good indicator, wouldn't it? I would assume it would be. Yeah, that's what it is. Hayden Christensen was one of the main characters. After that, didn't land any major role. That's true, too. Yeah, there's many cases like that. Didn't he just reinforce what they're trying to disprove? Pretty much, yeah. Okay, who's this? Another one. Let's see it.
Sure, you guys.
Here we go.
So just a reminder that you're still under oath, okay, sir? Thank you.
Here we go. Another wizard, yeah, it could be. Which one is this?
Good afternoon, Mr. Banya.
Good afternoon.
Can you briefly reintroduce yourself to the jury, please?
Yes, hi, Doug Banya. I am from Nevium Intellectual Property Consultants
Social
based
media
in San Diego.
Analytics expert.
I value intellectual property. I provide litigation support in infringement and defamation cases.
Twitter
as
wizard, that's
I'm
right.
doing today. And I use internet and social media analytics and both of those services.
Since you last testified in this case, the jury has heard testimony from Ronald Schnell and Catherine Arnold. Are you familiar with their testimony?
Yes.
Were you asked to analyze their testimony and provide opinions in response?
Yes, I was.
Uh-oh.
Have you formed opinions in response to the testimony of Mr. Schnell and Ms. Arnold?
I have.
Generally, what are those opinions?
Uh-oh.
Generally, Mr. Schnell provided no evidence of a correlation between the Waldman statements and the hashtags and the spikes of those hashtags on Twitter.
Which hashtags?
Second, based on my internet and social media analytics investigation, I've concluded that the alleged comparable actors that Ms. Arnold came up with are not comparable with Ms. Heard. And then thirdly, Mr. Schnell
Another one.
and Ms. Arnold both failed to provide any evidence of a causation as it relates to the Waldman statements causing any economic harm to Ms. Heard.
Let's dig into those opinions a little bit.
Okay,
you're
here we
familiar
go.
with the testimony of Mr. Schnell that there are more than 2.7 million alleged negative tweets related to Ms. Heard between January 2018 and June 2021?
Yes.
And what's your understanding of how Mr. Schnell identified those particular 2.7 million tweets?
Yeah, so essentially Mr. Schnell chose hashtags that he felt were negative towards Ms. Heard. Those hashtags range from justice for Johnny Depp, Amber Heard is an abuser, Amber Turd
There it is!
tag. We just don't like you, Amber. So then he used those
That's
hashtags and he searched through, using the Twitter API, searched through various tweets and then came up with any tweets that were using those hashtags.
Oh my God.
Did you conduct an analysis of those tweets?
Yes, I was given that exact
there it is.
the data that Mr. Schnell used on a hard
5
drive.
times.
So yes, I dug into that data as well.
And what was the purpose of your
You
analysis?
said the thing.
So what I'm trying to do, and what's at issue of case today at this point is, you know, were these tweets, did they contain the Waldman statements? That's what where we're at right now, are the Waldman statements. So I wanted to analyze those tweets to determine which ones, and if any, contain the Waldman statements.
And what's your understanding of what the Waldman statements are?
So my understanding is there's three Waldman statements that were published in the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is a UK tabloid, and Mr. Arnold was quoted in 3 of those articles. And those dates were on April 8th, 2020, April 27th, 2020, and on June 24th, 2020.
Okay.
And my understanding that those quotes, sorry, I think I said the wrong name, but those quotes are the only remaining in this case.
Did you analyze the timing of the tweets that we were talking about as compared to the timing of the Waldman statements?
And that's exactly what I did. So I wanted to look at the Waldman statements, look at the dates that they have,
Say it again.
and then analyze those as compared to the Twitter data that I had.
Have you prepared a demonstrative that reflects that aspect of your analysis?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Were we about to get a graph?
Bishop Counsel.
I think we might be looking at a graph, boys. That's not looking good. Yeah, say the word. Bro, I hope it's a line graph and the Amber Turd one is a brown line. That's like, if they do that, I will be happy no matter what happens after this. Like, yeah, it's a turd chart. Yeah, have it be a brown line. Because you know they're going to have different colors for it, etc. Yeah, you know, as I said, I think this is just so fucking ridiculous. It's the Amber fucking Turd. They actually said it. Oh my god. Alright, let's see it. Is Wizard stronger? Turbs Wizard or Depths? I feel like it's... Like, obviously, like, his statements were an agitator. I mean, of course they were an agitator, but people already thought this beforehand. And even his graph proved that.
1293 will just be marked for dedication as democracy.
Okay,
It can be published
here we go.
to the jury.
Let's see it. Please show me the fucking graph. Here we go.
Mr. Viney, can you explain to the jury what this demonstrative shows?
Let me make sure that...
Yes. So this shows the total hashtags
Vesícula
and
Apex.
tweets
Vamos, dos.
that Mr. Schnell
Where is it?
was
Tres.
analyzing. This is the summary data that their tweets
Fuck, I can't
that
see
are
it.
running from January 2018 to June of 2021. And again, these are related to the four hashtags that I discussed.
Please show it to me.
Whenever I get an assignment such as this,
there it
when
is.
I'm dealing with a defamatory statement that's allegedly gone viral online, where there's economic damages involved, and there's a lot of data involved, I like to take the data and I like to do a 30,000-foot view of the data to see what I'm looking at, to see if there's anything interesting, odd, different about the data.
The fuck?
And the first thing that I noticed is 35% of the tweets were prior to the Waldman statements. So again, remember, my assignment is to determine if the Waldman statements are part of the tweets that Mr. Schnell analyzed. So obviously, if these tweets were prior to the Waldman statements, in no way could they have anything to do with the Waldman statements. So that was the first issue that I noticed. Then I noticed what I like to call kind of the alleged defamatory time frame. And as I discussed, that's when Waldman statements were published, that's the date down here. You know, the first one was in the beginning of April, and the last one, which is the third one, was at the end of June. But what I found interesting is only 2% of all of the tweets happened during this Waldman period. So really, these are just observations, and for me, there were red flags that I made note of, and I just continued with my analysis.
2%, huh?
Performed in connection with forming your opinions about the
that
reported
fucked her
negative
up.
tweets.
Damn.
Yeah, so now I realize that 35% are irrelevant and 2%, you know, only happened during this important period. I just continue to dig into the 2.79 million tweets that Mr. Schnell provided.
And Tom, can we take that one down? And Mr. Banya, have you prepared another demonstrative that depicts that analysis that you were just describing?
Give me the other graph. I want to see it.
Faltan las Master Keywords.
Yep, give me the other graph. All right, let's see. Please, let's see the hashtag trends. Come on, here we go. More evidence? No way. Yeah, I know. Well, the other guy like this also provided the evidence, which was good.
Yeah, I'll give you time to look at it, sir.
Okay, yeah, let's go statistics. So only 2% were made in that time frame. Holy shit. Obviously, it was a much smaller time frame, but still.
Microphone, sorry.
No objection as a demonstrative.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, plaintiff's exhibit
Let's see it.
1294 will be marked for identification as a demonstrative.
¿Por qué hay eco?
Okay.
Mr. Banya, can you explain what this demonstrative shows?
Okay.
Yes, this is showing the various spikes as it relates to the hashtags that Mr. Schnell testified about. This is actually a demonstrative that he used in his testimony. What this is showing are the largest spikes related to the hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp. I don't know if you remember his testimony or any of his demonstratives. The other three hashtags did spike at the same time, but a very small spike. So what I'm showing you here are the 6 top spikes in Mr. Schnell's analysis.
Yeah. And then what happened on that time?
What's important here again is the very first spike and the largest spike again happened before the Waldman statements. So what I'm trying to figure out is what tweets were related to the Waldman statements. So this number 1 spike, which is the biggest spike, was prior to the Waldman statements, so it's irrelevant to the case. And then the second thing I noticed that was interesting here is here are the dates in gray right here. This is the time in which the Waldman statements happened. And you're going to notice, as we discussed before, only 2% of the tweets happened during that time. But I found it very interesting for such a viral event that has potentially caused such economic harm. There's no spikes in this area. And actually, you're going to see that Mr. Waldman, you know, his statement came out here in the first April 2020 article. Then the second one came out here, and then the third one came out in June. There's actually a downward use of the spike, downward use of the hashtags. So I'm not seeing any correlation as it relates to the Waldman statements and any spikes here as it relates to the hashtags Mr. Schnell chose.
Did you analyze each of the spikes that are depicted here?
Yeah, so what I did is I looked at the 6 different spikes, and you're going to notice that each spike represents a month. So the second spike, you know, is July 2020, and so on to the 6th spike going to April 2021. And what I did is, I don't know if you remember my last testimony when I went into Google search, and I'm able to go into Google search. I went in and I typed in Amber Heard,
And then after you hit search, you can use the tool and you can go back in time. And I chose each 6 of these dates to go back in time to see what was the media talking about back then. You know, what was the general public being fed as it relates to Amber Heard back during the spikes. And what I found is none of them. Well, actually, I analyzed the top 3 search results because they represent 50 to 70% of what people click on. And I realized that none of them had anything to do with the Waldman statements.
No, because nobody gave a shit about that.
Are you aware of Mr. Schnell's testimony that the tweets using the 4 hashtags he looked at were mathematically correlated?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So what Mr. Schnell is saying, which is irrelevant to this case, is the 4 hashtags that he randomly chose.
People are using them interchangeably.
They tend to go up and down together. And that's why he had these spikes here. So the correlation there is how those 4 hashtags work or dance together going up and down. But first of all, the hashtags have nothing to do with the Waldman statements. And the fact that there's a correlation with the hashtags is irrelevant to this case because we're dealing with the Waldman statements, which none of that correlation analysis he did had to do with.
How do you know that the correlation doesn't have anything to do with the Waldman statements?
Because the graph shows the opposite.
Can I clear this at all? No.
There it is. Okay.
Well, first of all, I know because that would happen right here.
Right.
You know, if when Mr. Waldman, one of his quotes was published, you would see a big spike right here. And then you would see maybe a little noise down here, and then the third time you might see second time a big spike, and the third time a big spike.
Yeah.
That's not here. So that's telling me there's no correlation between the Waldman statements and this hashtag.
Number 2 was about
and then I've actually provided evidence that there's no correlation because I analyzed each of these spikes and none of them had to do with the Waldman statements.
Is mathematical correlation the same as causation?
No.
Of course not.
Why not?
I mean, correlation is simply a relationship between the 2 or more variables or 2 or more things.
Yeah, sure.
In this case, the correlation question is, when the Waldman statements were published, at the same time, did you see a correlation with spikes in these hashtags? And again, Can you clear this? You see none of that right here. It's actually a downward trend.
That's
there's no spikes, there's no correlation. So
as compared to other
again, Mr. Schnell
about the same thing.
Provided no evidence of any correlation.
Yeah.
What correlation opinion did he provide during his testimony?
Well, he provided the correlation that 4 hashtags, spike together. But again, the hashtags have nothing to do with the Waldman statements, and the facts that they're correlating or moving together is irrelevant to the case.
People don't even know about
because the case is about the Waldman statements.
Yeah.
So what is causation then?
So causation is where one thing causes a change in the other.
Of course.
So as it relates to this case, did the Waldman statements cause Ms. Heard to have economic harm? In other words, did the Waldman statements cause Ms. Heard not to make as much money in her career?
Sure.
And again, Mr. Schnell provided no evidence of this. Ms. Arnold provided no evidence of this.
Of course not.
And as a matter of fact, during Ms. Arnold's testimony yesterday, she didn't even know what causation was. She was asked, do you know the difference between causation and correlation? And she said that she's not a semantics expert. We're not talking about the words. When it comes to damages, you have to prove causation prior to calculating damages.
That's true.
So there is no causation that's proven here.
Holy shit.
Therefore, a damages analysis is not appropriate.
Did you hear Mr. Schnell testify that he agreed with your opinion in this case?
Yes.
And what's your understanding of the opinion that he agreed with?
Well, he agreed that he failed to link the spikes in the hashtags on Twitter to the Waldman statements.
Did he try to do that?
He tried to do that. But again, his analysis was looking at the word Waldman and looking at the word Waldminian and then trying to say that 25% of the tweets included those two terms. But first of all, Waldman isn't the issue here. It's the Waldman statements. And Waldminian, I don't even know what that is, but it's not relevant to this case.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that.
We can, I think, take that one down, please, Tom.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah,
Mr. Bynum,
what
kind
even
of work
was
have you
that?
done in connection with forming your
Tried,
opinions
yeah.
about Mr. Schnell's testimony?
Again, the assignment was to determine if the
Amber
Waldman
Heard started
statements
it?
were part
I
of
see.
the tweet, so I continued to dig in, to the data. I believe the next step
So
is
it's her
now
that
that I've
started that?
excluded, the 35% that was before the Waldman statements because they were irrelevant. I wanted to really analyze from the April 2020 forward
God.
to see if any of those tweets, contained the Waldman statements.
Did you prepare a demonstrative that reflects that analysis that you did?
Yes, I did.
Your Honor, may I approach again? All right.
Oh, we got ourselves another graph. Oh my God, I'm ready. So yeah, wait a second. Dude, I didn't even realize this. So it was actually
Any
her that
objections?
started this whole thing?
No objection as a demonstrative.
All right, we'll mark it for identification as plaintiffs 1295 as demonstrative.
But they're blaming it on Johnny.
So,
Okay,
Mr.
here we
Bynum,
go.
did you consider the content of the statements made by Waldman as part of the work that you did?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so here I reviewed the Waldman statements again, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to determine what, if any, tweets
I see
include
it,
the
yep.
Waldman statements. So what I went
Yep.
back to the Waldman statements, and I came up with key terms and key themes
Yeah.
for those Waldman statements, which are listed here. The Waldman
Okay.
statements were about abuse hoax, sexual violence hoax, and fake sexual violence.
Uh-huh.
So what I did is we're now dealing with a 1.2 million tweets because we're starting in April 2020 because that's when the Waldman statements started.
Right.
And what I did is I searched the 1.2 million tweets, for these three phrases. And I determined that there were 751 tweets that included those key terms, which is 0.06% of the 1.2 million. And then as I was sifting and sorting and analyzing this data, I realized that a lot of these tweets had the exact same language. It was interesting to see it was the exact same tweet because I'm analyzing the language to see if it matches one of these
Right.
three. I realized that a lot of these tweets were retweets, likes, or shares. So therefore, I eliminated any of those, and it came down with 95 unique tweets.
Okay.
And then what I did from there is I analyzed those
The most popular
to
ones.
determine if any of these terms were in there, and I identified 5 tweets that were related to the Waldman statements.
And even that's an
Do
assumption.
any of the hashtags Mr. Schnell analyzed include the words from the Waldman statements?
No, they don't, and because I am rebutting Miss Arnold, her testimony yesterday, she was saying that the Waldman statements caused these hashtags,
Yeah.
and throughout her testimony, she walked that back and admitted, no, none of these tweets have anything to do with the Waldman statements. They don't include the Waldman statements. These hashtags are only hashtags that Schnell, in his opinion, felt that they were negative towards Miss Heard.
Based on your expertise, what are your overall opinions about Mr. Schnell's testimony and the Twitter hashtag data?
Mr. Schnell provided no evidence that any of the tweets were related to the Waldman statements. Mr. Schnell, there's no correlation there. He also provided no evidence that there's any causation that, the Waldman statements caused any economic harm towards Ms. Heard.
Your Honor, I'm about to switch to a different topic. I don't know if you want to break now or push.
All right, it's going to be a little while, I assume.
A little bit more, yes.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and break for lunch. then, since we do not
There's
discuss
going to
the
be a
case
lot more to
in
do.
executive
Like, this
session,
is
okay?
bad. Let's see here. Finally, someone pointing out our two witnesses provided fucking zero evidence. Yeah, exactly. And that's really the thing. It's like people that believe this shit. These are the same people that believe in like all kinds of other bullshit hoaxes, right? You just believe like, oh well, you know, this seems like it's true. I want it to be true, so it's true. Or this reaffirms what I already think, so it's true. And that's the way these people's brain works. That's what it is. Oh my fucking god, man, it's crazy. Oh my god.
All right, we'll come back at 1:40.
They update the,
thank you.
what's this here? The chart after they mentioned Amber Turd? I have no idea, honestly. I really don't know. It's nuts, man. Like, it's sad to me, actually, too. It really is sad to see, like, such a, like, it's sad to see it, like, man, they're getting fucking embarrassed. How do you just go and just make up bullshit and just have people come on over and over and over to repeat the same bullshit?
Chupa.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp grab anyone?
Objection leading. Sustained.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp become physical with anyone?
Objection leading.
Okay.
Sustained.
Did you ever witness Mr. Depp get angry that evening?
Objection leading. Sustained.
Do a what if any.
What, if anything, happened the next morning?
Yep.
One of my innkeepers let me know that there was some damage.
Objection.
Of course.
Hearsay.
Did something happen that caused you to go to Mr. Depp and Miss Heard's trailer?
Yes, I was informed that.
Objection. Hearsay.
It's not being offered for the truth, Your Honor. I mean, may we approach on this
Okay,
topic?
sure.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Yep.
Que puedo hacer uno. Vamos. Va, tengo que pillarme crema de ostra. Toque del maestro, señores. Añadir. Tengo que cargarme un Ghost Harak. Vamos a ver si hay algo de Ghost Harak. Ah, sí que hay, señores. Petición de acceso. The fuck? ¿Qué ha pasado aquí?
And what did Ms. Vasquez say to you?
Your Honor, this is beyond, we object on the grounds that it's beyond the scope of the voir dire,
No,
which is limited to the
whatever
three
she said
criteria.
to him
But
is
may I
very
please finish
important.
stating my objection, Your Honor?
Go ahead, yes, sir.
The objection is that it's beyond the scope of the voir dire, Your Honor, enumerated the three criteria which are relevant here. And this is a rebuttal witness, so.
Your Honor, whatever Ms. Vasquez shared with him is going to be very important here because they knew by this time he was going to be a witness. So,
That's last night, so
Right.
how does that fit into one of the three factors of deciding whether or not he's gonna testify?
well, one of the three factors, Your Honor, may I approach so the witness doesn't hear?
Okay, that's fine.
A ver, ¿qué dangos? Dangos por Insect Lake. ¿Hay algo de eso? ¿Ves? Dango 1000 combos. Esto es lo que quería ver. Low rank, high rank. This Dango command said that is recommended if you are using melee weapons, particularly great sword, longsword, sword and shield, lance, switch axe, charge blade, and insect blade. Grants increased survival compared to the low rank combo, and also has a chance to trigger monster weakening. Pues a ver, ¿qué es? Dango Medical Technique. ¿Dónde coño está eso? Está el debilitador. Es este, ¿no? El estimulante. Uno verde. Y luego uno naranja. Dango defensor, creo. Ya. Guardaré en un set. Set de dango. Vamos a ponerle nombre. Debería dejar poner nombre, pero cuando estés haciendo lo del registrar el set. Bueno, espero que eso lo arregle. Escribe un nombre para el set. Dev Melee. Defensive Melee. Ahora. Esto me lo puedo quitar de encima, probando. ¿Qué más? Long Range Weapon, Dango 1000 Combo. Increasing long range weapon firepower is the focus of this setup. Unfortunately, activation rate of all skills except monster weakness low, so you may not be able to trigger all three of them too often. Increases armor damage and... bow, eso es lo que estaba buscando. Dango Body Technique, Dango Shooting Technique, and Monster Weakening. Volvemos a Monster Weakening. Vamos a ver. Está aquí. Dango Luchador. ¿De verdad? Qué cosa más rara. This setup allows you to reduce the stamina consumed when using techniques like Focus Shot and Charge Step, which are invaluable for the bow playstyle. Charge Step. ¿Y cuál más? Y el verde, ¿no? Dango Equilibrio y Tirador. ¿Es este? Es este. Guardar en un set. Bow. Vamos a llamarlo Bow. Y hay uno más. Melee Weapon, Hammer Hunting. Pues creo que ya lo tengo. Tango millonario. A ver, vamos a probarlo. Ver lo de siempre. Esto es lo del PAU, ¿no? Renombrar. PAU. PAU recommended. Oh. Tararán. Vaya, no se me ha activado todo. No pasa nada. Oye, ya que estoy, voy a mirar lo de las pegatinas, ¿no? A ver cómo lo tengo. De hecho, ¿qué pegatinas tengo? A ver... Esta de aquí. Ah, esa no. Frases personalizadas. A ver, ¿cómo funciona esto? No, coño. Sí, no. ¿No había algo de automático? Editar frases. Ahí, mira. Frases automáticas. Cerrar. Cerrar. ¿Hay alguna manera de poner... Well played. No, pero well played y ya está. Ups. Ups. Me cago en tu madre, tío. Ahora. Ok. Ahora, la de las frases automáticas, tío. Es un placer. Pero ¿cómo funciona esto? Abandono la misión. No, no. Buen trabajo. Buen trabajo. ¿Pero esto va junto o cómo va el rollo? Es que no lo entiendo cómo funciona esto. Claro, este no se puede cambiar. Pero de las frases automáticas, ¿cómo funciona? Cambiar, sí, ¿no? Eso es traducido. Set 1. Coleca. Tiempo de chat. Poner una trampa. Cuando alguien te cura. Chocho. Voy a poner chocho. Chocho. Hala. Con un compañero te otorga beneficios. Potato bless you. Potato blessings. Eso voy a poner. Potato blessings. A completar una misión. Ah, ya estamos. Buen trabajo. Suck. No. Es que claro, ¿no? ¡Vamos! ¡Anemos! ¡Anemos! Vale, magnífico. Get good. Te puedo poner get good ahí. A ver, ¿cómo se cambia, tío? Barra de acciones, en misiones, coño. ¿Esto lo puedo cambiar? O se apaga, es que no sé cómo funciona esto. Opciones de comunicación, vale. Ah, que solo puedo ponerme 4. ¿No puedo ponerme más? Predefinido. Pues no, no puedo poner todo. O sea, no me puedo quitar cosas. ¿Por qué, tío? No entiendo. ¡Oh! ¡Qué chulo! Que puedo ponerle pegatinas a esto, tío. Gestos. Pegatinas. Equipado todo, magnífico. Tengo la comida. Vamos a por los harak. Una review del Nino Kun. Un juego que puedo jugar algún día. Hola, qué fuerte. Baja, baja. Su puta madre.
Nino Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Looking in from a distance, there isn't too much here that aligns with my tastes. Between the childish, juicy characters and the odd-sounding
No me
name,
gusta el que está hablando, tío. Amber Lawyer says Mr. Tort. What the fuck? En fin, vamos a ello. No sé si estoy online, la verdad. ¿Dónde está? No lo he dicho. Más cercanos aquí. Toshihiro se ha unido. Vamos, Toshihiro. A tope. Bueno, eso no sé cómo se lee, ¿eh? Lo siento, señores, pero yo no... A ver, nos pueden insultar, pero garabatos no puedo leer. Por desgracia. Pero no hagas eso, coño. Y le daría al pequeño, tío. Joder. Pero, tío. What the fuck. Me queda una barbaridad, ¿eh? Me ha apagado. Vale. Vamos a ello. Ahora sí. Joder, y fallo. Quietos, señores. Joder, Paco. Madre. Oh. ¿Se va? Se va. Pero se ha unido a la misión. No, joder. Ah, que no le da. Chuni, vete de aquí. Estoy recogiendo mierda, tío. No me deja ver. Oh shit, no. Qué bueno. Pero bueno, no por mí. No sé qué ha pasado, pero el Mikotsuni este me está tocando los cojones. ¿Quieres irte de aquí, tío? Sabía que me iba a dar, tío. Hostia, me llevo. Uf. Ojo que le he dicho, chocho. Creo que no va a recoger todo lo que ha tirado. ¿Por qué pones trampa, chico? No está a morir. No se va a morir aún. Qué loco, Paco. he fallado, tío. Se me ha movido. Ahora si quieres, sí, pon la trampa, gilipollas. Buena. Buena. No ha durado nada, ¿no? Esta misión. 12 minutos. Injusticos. Eres el muerto. ¿Qué hora es, por cierto? Las 12 menos cuarto solo. Joder. Bueno, sigamos. No sé qué me han dado por esto, ahora que lo digo. Ni me he fijado. Ah, lo de las gafas, vale. Vale, vale. Vale, 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 vale. Tengo una misión especial de la saga Mega Man para ti. Qué curiosidad, ¿eh? Vamos, señores, a por esto. No, coño, no me lo quites, gilipollas. Colocar adornos. ¿Me lo parece a mí o se me ha quitado algo? No, no se me ha quitado nada. Sé yo que estoy loco. Necesito las joyas de maestría. ¿Cuántas necesito? A ver. Necesitaría 2, creo. Adornos, crear. Pilisticos Harak, tío. Es que eso va a ser jodidísimo. Tiene pinta de ser muy jodido. Voy a ir alternando, tío. Entre vos Harak y Teostra, básicamente. A no ser que haya una misión donde incluya los dos, cosa que lo dudo. Pero vamos a ver. Aquí no. Aquí tampoco. Nah, esto tampoco. este ostra. Pero claro, es que no están juntos, tío, qué putada. Aquí hay teostra y tetranodon. Sí, sin aparecerme el que yo quiero. Pues nada, a ver, habrá que hacerse... No sé si hacerme el teostra de aquí o el del desierto. Nada, el del desierto. Vamos a comer. Vamos a comer. Socio variado, gestos. Cabezadita. Ver la carta. De cacahuete. El número de recompensas al acabar una misión. Mira, esto lo necesito sí o sí. Debilitador y defensor necesito. No reduce el daño recibido. Pedido. Puto mongol, que no se ve más cosas, tío. Mira que son los trials bien largos. Bueno, señores, necesito un teostra.
You tweeted to Umbrella Man.
I was Umbrella Guy.
The Umbrella Guy. Okay. All right. And in fact, the Umbrella Guy is in Mr. Adam Waldman. Do you know who Adam Waldman is?
I have no idea.
Well, he's testified earlier that he talks to the Umbrella Guy.
That he what? He talks to the Umbrella Guy?
Yeah. Were you aware of that?
I honestly, this sounds like schizophrenia.
Ojo, que tenemos al portador de una llave espada. Pues se nota bastante cuando nos dan hostia. Venga, tío. Y me da Johnny Quest. Ole. Ole. Dale, Johnny Quest. No, qué pena. era perro. Ha venido y se ha ido, tío. Pillado. Ha abierto una llave, una puerta con la llave. Y se ha pirado el hijo de puta. Ay, Dios. No sé ni pues dónde está. No estoy de camino, creo. Creo que no estoy muy seguro. Uff, no me ha dado y no sé ni cómo. Magnífico. Sí. Perrito, ven aquí. Ups. Me equivoco. ¿Dónde se ha ido? No se ha ido aquel lado. Buah, chaval. Que te matan, chico. Joder. No me he podido ni acercar, chico. A ver si puedo usar esto. Y ahora se enfada, pavo. ¿Por qué te enfadas? ¡Wow! Menos mal. Oh, me ajé. Muchas bombas, tío. Ah, mía. Que lo he montado. Oh, oh. es, tío? Muévete, no es que está atacando. El otro pavo me da con las lanzas. No sé hacia dónde ha ido. ¿Dónde está? A la izquierda. Pereira de bigote. ¿Cómo ha entrado este? Hostia, qué guapo la lanza. Mierda. Casi. Pero no. No, me he equivocado de botón, tío. Casi me da. No, tío. Así. No sale de ahí, no puedo atacar. Buah. OMG, me morí. Hijo de puta. Estaba atacando. ¡Qué hijo de la gran puta! Me ha dado en todo el aire. Se ha tirado un petardo. Estos que flipas. ¡Buah, chaval! sí. Pues nada, vete, hijo de la gran pu. Quedo con tu cola, chico. Oh, vaya hostia. Bien hecho, señores. Hemos tenido una vez, pero no pasa nada. Chitorra, chitorra. Vamos a subir un vídeo. A ver, ¿qué me ha tirado? Necesito una green. Bien, green. Tengo una green. Polvo de otra. Ganadería tite otra cabrón. Eso sí, caca, caca en general, tío. Basura, basura. Ya, 12 ya. No juego al Pokémon al final. Mañana juego. Es que no me tira lo que quiero. ¿Necesitaba realmente la cream? ¿A que lo digo? Sí. A que si lo necesito. Mamius. Toca un Goharak. A ver si hay otra de evento con Goharak. Qué curiosidad, la verdad. Está esta. Es que para ser un monstruo nuevo no han metido muchos eventos con él. Han metido más del Tetranador y Arzuros. Y el Arzuros, madre mía. Basurita, basura. Pues de mierda eso, tío. Calamidad carmesí. De frenesí que hay. Ahora mismo no quiero. Voy a seguir con uno de los Harak, pues. Cogeré el evento. Tío, que eso no me queda esto. Ay, que no he comido. Mierda. Espérate. No, mira, te puedo llevar esto. Ay, tío, lo que yo quiero. No, el tío. Deja de tirar mierda. Gilipollas. Ahora, ¿dónde está el Goharak? Eso es un Mezzotsone. Pues está aquí abajo. Vamos a por ti. My friend. Tarazo. Vale. Sí, no me ha dado. cazador. Tengo que ver una cosa. Fisiología, materiales, ven aquí. Aquí no está, aquí. ¿Y cómo se consigue eso? ¿O estoy tonto o no sale? Ah, espérate. Tiene que ser de rango alto. Ahora. Revolverse por captura, por parte rota, que hay que romperle la espalda. Vale. Vale, no es mucho, pero es algo. Joder. Bueno, me va a costar entonces. Uy. Pero, ¿esto qué es, tío? Quédate conmigo, ¿no? Cago en la polla. Venga. Entonces. Buah, tío, de verdad. Espérate, que ahora me matará. ¡No! Joder, tío. Estaba full de vida, chico. ¡No! Qué feo. Coño, hay un Mizutsune aquí. Vamos a por él. Ahí. gastado una poción, no quería. Mirinda. Yo aquí empiezo las peleas y el pavo se va. Pero así todo el rato. Que ahora lo voy a dejar aquí. Que está tocando los huevos esto, Suda completamente de mi tío. ¿Se puede saber por qué? Joder, chico. ¿Dónde has puesto la trampa aquí? Vamos a quedarnos por aquí. A ver si no quiero venir, ¿qué hago yo? A ver si me gusta. Ni me da y no sé ni cómo, tío. Se vuelve a ir, tío. Se me está haciendo eterna esta misión, no sé por qué. Se me está haciendo eterno esto. Ya puedo tirarme la vesícula esa de los cojones o me enfadaré mucho. Y ahora te hago un escapullo cuando esté a punto de terminar. Ups. Pero... cojones, tío. Me ha absorbido esto. Vaya puñetazo, chico. A capturarlo, coño. Muy bien. Muy bien, Guillermo. Hostia, es verdad que me tengo que quitar la suscripción de Amazon. Espérate, ¿cómo quito yo eso? Vale, no hay liga. ¿Para qué me voy a estar pagando yo esa mierda? Uf. vesícula congelante. Ah, no me lo ha tirado, tío. Qué pena. Cristal turbio. Lo que lleno, cuerno. Pues voy a mirar. Se me ha dado pelo, tío. Bueno, señores, aquí lo dejo, creo. Sigo sin haber conseguido la vesícula, ¿no? Puta vesícula, no sabía que iba a ser tan jodido. Joder, la bilis esa, tío. Bueno, lo dejo por aquí. Mañana más. Te he decepcionado. Adiós.